Hello everyone. In this video, we'll take some of your doubts that have been asked by our students on our discussion board and we'll try to answer them here. So for the people who are not our subscribers or are new to our channel, you can check out our app APSCD, which is exclusively for civil engineering for your any exam preparation. We have various courses including single subject, multi-subject and complete study package. As mentioned here, we have subject-wise packages, basic study package and premium study package. These are the features in different packages. We have complete video lectures, study material, doubt support. So as a part of the doubt support, we are conducting these doubt sessions. If you are one of the subscribers of any of these courses, you can also ask doubts, and if it is worth considering in a video, I'll probably solve it here. Apart from that, we have mock tests, practice questions, study plan for organizing your time properly and giving you an insight that how many days are left and what pace you should follow for your complete preparation. Then there are assessment tests, formula cards for remembering the formula in less time, or always you can keep these cards with you and keep revising the formula so that in exams you remember all these formula properly. And after that, we also provide the interview assistant. So even if it is for MTech or for any PSU or any other government job, we'll give you that assistance also. So go check out our app on Google Play Store as well as our website apscd.in, where you can find all the details. We have free resources also, so you should go and check out our app as well as our website. So let's see today's questions. So in this doubt, let's understand about the ILD for indeterminate beams. So we know if we are trying to draw the ILD, if we want to draw the qualitative ILD, so we can use the Muller-Breslau principle, and using that we can draw the qualitative ILD for determinate as well as indeterminate beam. So let's say in this case we want to draw the ILD for shear force at D. So first of all, for using this Muller-Breslau principle, we remove the capacity of this structure to resist shear at D. So we have provided a vertical roller at D, and then we have applied a unit shear force, and under this unit shear force, the deflection of this beam will give the qualitative ILD for the shear force at D. So here we are obtaining this qualitative ILD. Now if we want to obtain the different ordinates also, that is, this is the ILD, but what is the ordinate here or here at different points, what will be the value of the shear force if we want to obtain the quantitative ILD. So for that, how do we do it? So let's understand with this example where we are interested in ILD for shear force at D. So first of all, we have applied this unit shear force and this is the deflected shape. Now let's say we select a random point here as E. This E can be here, anywhere it can be on the span. So we have selected a random point E and applied a unit load applied at E. Now due to unit load at E, we are saying that the shear force in the actual beam, the shear force at D is V. Now the deflection at D due to unit load at E, if we are indicating with FDE is the deflection at D due to unit load at E. So that is the part where we have applied the unit load at E. Now let's say we are coming back to this point D, and at this point E we have applied a unit shear force. Now under the action of this unit shear force at D, deflection the deflection at D is deflection at D due to unit shear force at D, we are denoting as FDD, this part here. Then what will be the deflection? The deflection at D due to a shear force V at D, if we are talking about. So if we know for the unit shear force what is the deflection, then we can find out the deflection due to V shear force. So that will be simply V times FDD. So V times FDD shows the deflection at D due to shear force V. Now we know that the shear force V was the shear force that was coming due to the unit load at E. So from this condition here, we can say the quantity FDE will be equal to V times FDD, because both are indicating the same terms here. This is the deflection under shear force V, and this is also the deflection that was caused due to shear force V, just that the load was applied at E. So from here we equate these two and we can obtain the ordinate of ILD for shear force as FDE by FDD. So FDE here indicates the deflection at D due to unit load at E. DE indicates deflection at D due to unit load at E. And we know Maxwell's theorem. So instead of writing Maxwell's reciprocal theorem, we know. So instead of writing FDE, we can write FDE will be equal to FED. So from here we obtain the ILD for the ordinate of ILD for shear force as FED upon FDD. Why we have used Maxwell's theorem? So in this first case we have written FDE, that is a deflection at D due to unit load at E. It means if we are using FDE upon FDD for obtaining the ILD, then we need to apply the unit load at various points on the span and then find out the value of V. But when we write FED upon FDD, so this means that it is the deflection at E, which is the variable point, due to unit load at D. So it means that we just have to apply the load at a single place, that is point D, and if we select different points, this E can be anywhere because this is variable in this expression, and using that we can find out the quantitative ILD or the ordinates of this ILD at different points. So this deflected shape or the deflection at different points, it can be obtained using conjugate beam method. It is covered under our paid course for indeterminate beams also. We can do this, and using that we can find out the quantitative ILD. Similarly, we can use the similar method for obtaining the ILD for reaction as well as moment. So this was the first doubt, that how do we obtain or how do we write this final expression V is equal to FED upon FTD. So that I have covered. Then the next doubt is a simple question. Here it says shear stress in XY plane is given as 1000 MPa. A block is tested in shear, and for that this is the shear stress. Then it is asking for the shear modulus and the strain matrix is given. So because here the matrix is given, we need to understand what are these elements if we take a generalized matrix. So in a generalized matrix, we have epsilon x, gamma xy. So this is the linear strain, this will be the shear strain, then gamma xz, then gamma xy, epsilon y and gamma yz, and then gamma zx or xz, and gamma yz and epsilon z. So the diagonal elements show the normal strain and rest of the elements show the shear strain. Now we want to obtain the shear modulus or modulus of rigidity. So it is given as the ratio of shear stress to shear strain. So shear stress is given to us in the xy plane, and from here we want to obtain the shear strain. So as we are calculating in xy plane, we want to know the shear strain in xy plane. So that value is 0.005. So here we are taking 0.005, and from that we obtain the shear modulus as 2 into 10 to the power 5 MPa. So that is the required answer here.